What a season, Chicago. I mean, man, from the ups, from the downs, all around, man, I just think this is probably one of the greatest seasons I've got to witness in my lifetime, I should say. And I know we came up short in the end, but man, I'll tell you one thing. We got our quarterback. We got our head coach. So buckle up, Chicago. We're going for a ride. Okay, all the corny stuff out of the way though. Let's really get into the nitty-gritty of how this season went. It's just going to be like a little recap, my thoughts of the 2025 year. First off, hats off to all the players, man, all the coaches, hell, all the fans. You guys showed out. I went to a game in person this year, and it just felt like every game we brought the energy that was necessary, to keep this team going. And even though it started out so rough, going on to both divisional rivals, the Vikings game we should have won at home, and then getting our ass beat against Detroit, it kind of just felt like, oh, here we go again. But, this team, they stuck through it. They told us it's a lot more games left. Like Caleb said, we put in the work, we put in the time, we know the type of team that we can be, and they showed us, man. We were going to be an 8-win team. And said we were going to lose to the Packers. And said we weren't going to win the division. And said we weren't going to win a playoff game. And we lost to a Super Bowl winning coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I don't feel any type of bad about it. Obviously, I felt like we could have won that game. Everybody knows that we could have. And I think that's the beautiful part of it all. We actually had our chance, and we just kind of failed to make our mark. But hey, the past is the past. I'm gonna reflect on it one last time in this video, then let it go. But man, you want to talk about a season where we saw pure development in our quarterback, pure faith and development restored in our team. I remember last year we were telling ourselves we may have to burn this whole thing down again and start from the ground up. The pieces that we have on this team are significant. They played in a ton of factors in games this year, and I honestly think the biggest reason why we fell short, our games were so close this year, and if you look back and track, it makes out injuries, but that's no excuse because every team in the league deals with injuries. I just felt, however, when it came to our injuries, we just couldn't catch a break in terms of getting our whole complete defense in unison. But hey, shout out to Dennis Allen, DA. Still did his job with the banged up defense. Led the league in takeaways. And some unsung heroes, came through in this season. I want to shout out Sean Wright, Kevin Byard, so consistent. Hell, CJ Gardner-Johnson, what a free agent signing that was. I mean, this guy was getting bounced around for like the first 2 months of football, praying to like somebody just give him a home, give him a chance. Then he comes to Chicago, and now he's got a home. I'm hearing we should just re-sign him. Why not? He did good for us. He likes it here. He enjoys playing with Dennis Allen. Why not? That was pretty surprising outcome of the defense, despite all the injuries that we had. So, defense, give yourselves a round of applause. It was a good season, man. Couldn't catch a break with our linebackers. You see when Kyler Gordon is fully healthy and is on a non-limited snap count, the impact is real. And you saw it in that Rams game in the divisional round. I mean, between Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, hell, even Tyreek Stevenson, they were all around the field. And you just know when those guys get on the field at the same time, it spells trouble for the opposing team quarterback. We saw it. You can use Jaquan like a linebacker in a lot of these situations. He damn near forced a 3-and-out by himself one drive. But anyway, from the divisional round game, I want to talk some more about the season. The Cowboys, that was an ass thumping, which I knew it would be. And that was kind of like our breakout game, you could say. A lot of people would say that. I agree. A lot of names came up in that game. A lot of positive stats. all in all, just a well-rounded game to show everybody the type of team that we could be this season. And they just took it from there and they capitalized. Next game, played the Raiders. It was a lot closer than we'd like. Max Crosby, you are a Chicago Bear. Don't worry, we're coming to get you. But outside of that, the Raiders defense was proven pretty tough that game. Caught a lucky break with a blocked field goal. Shout out the special teams unit, Hightower. You're the only coach retained from last year's staff, and we see why now. You played a big impact. You had a bit of a slow stretch during the season, but towards the end, I think we kind of got back to where we were as a special teams unit last year, which is really good. And so shout out to Hightower for that, man. Special teams won us a lot of games this year. Can't be mad about it at all. Even Devin Duvernay in the punt return game, he was giving us some great field opportunities, everything. So, it started kind of slow, picked it up. Excellent way to finish the year. At the Commanders game, which I was at, another game where the defense just averaging these takeaways like it's nothing. Practice getting 3 takeaways at practice, and it reflected in games. Got a big takeaway against the Commanders. Iced them with a field goal. Jake Moody, I wish we kept you, but there was no need because Cairo kind of locked in latter end of the season, and Cairo's going to be here to stay next year. But all in all, man, a great game. I was happy to be there in person with my Mia Moore. And yeah, man, that was a good game. Definitely put the Hail Mary game out of our minds, and it gave, I want to say, the entire fan base a lot more comfort in how far we could go this season. And then, the next slew of games, Saints, that was an easy game at home, very easy opponent, but, we took care of business fairly well, I'd say. It was tough at first. Defense was doing so well to start the game, and they did, towards the entirety of the game, but offense just had to get in a quicker groove, if I'm making sense. All year we started so slow on offense to where these fourth quarter comebacks and fourth quarter victories just kept happening, mainly because our offense started so slow. We know what we're capable of. We know that we can score points. We have an excellent receiving core, excellent tight end core, excellent offensive line core, literally everything you can want to make a high-powered offense we had this year. Shout out Colston Loveland. He came on later in the season, but you saw once his snap count got increased and he was fully cleared from injury, how significant that drafting of him was. And first off, hats off to Ryan Poles. I want to say this is probably more Ben Johnson coded than Ryan Poles, because Ryan Poles had 3 years to develop players in the draft. It looks like everybody we drafted this year can be a valuable piece for years on. Let's just talk about our first pick, Colston Loveland. What more can I say? Most receiving yards by a tight end in any postseason in his first year with Caleb Williams. That's only going to get better. They have the opportunity to be one of the best quarterback tight end duos this quarter of the century. Then next up, Luther Burden. How could I forget? Just a true dog. Just honestly a dog. Didn't take anything off. Literally wanted his shot, wanted his game. Trying to prove that he belongs on this team, and he does. Whether it's in a wide receiver 3 role, I feel very comfortable moving him to a wide receiver 2 role. Hell, even 1 eventually, because he's just going to be that good. It's like every time he caught the ball, a play was waiting to be made. And you just knew that first guy's not getting him down. That's exactly what we need. Years on forward, everything. So, shout out Luther Burden, man. Now I'm really just going to poke around because I know a lot of guys got hurt and then missed the season for other reasons. Shout out to Al Frazier and Shamar Turner. Get healthy. But yeah, Kyle Monunga, come on, man. Just a dog. 7th round, rough, diamond in the rough, as some would say. Just really came alive and gave us this high-powered rushing attack that we all have been craving in Chicago. Craving since Monty left. So, shout out Kyle Monunga being real tough between the tackles. Ozzy Trapillo, ain't forgot about you either, boy. Get well soon. came on, left tackle starting position is in bit talks of being moved up so quickly because we just needed a valuable answer at left tackle. And it sucks that we got to him so late in the season. But you saw in pass pro, excellent. Dude was truly one of the best left tackles in the rookie class, and it's just so smart. Just watching like a lot of his pass pro schemes, or pass pro blocks, I should say. It was just like, man, this guy really, really knows how to play the position, and that was good to see. We have not had I say this like we didn't draft Darnell Wright 2 years ago, but we know that the right side is locked up. We could not get any type of consistency on the left side of the line, and thank you, Ben Johnson and Isaac Chapello, for finally giving it to us. It sucks that you got hurt in the second to last game of the season, but I'm praying for a speedy recovery, and I know when you come back, an impact will still be made. So I'm not really too worried. And also, Derek McFadden, or Jordan McFadden, whoever you are, McFadden, that played against the Rams, I don't know where you came from, but hey, welcome to Chicago, man. We're keeping you. So that was good to see that we can have valuable people on the team deep enough in our roster to make an impact in any type of game situation. So thank you for that. And then, let's just keep shouting out the O-line while we're on topic. Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, Darnell Wright, literally all studs. This whole line, I think, was pretty much the main reason for the Caleb Williams transformation that we saw this season. Because we knew the kid could play, we just knew that Caleb needed time. And they finally gave him time and a scheme that actually works, and an offensive play caller who actually knows what he's doing, and boom, what do you know? This kid's a stud. One of the best quarterback seasons we've ever seen out of a Chicago Bears quarterback, and it's no coincidence. Why? Because we got the O-line right. So, yeah, shout out to them. But let's get back on track of what happened this season. Lost to the Ravens without Lamar. And to be truthfully honest, I think the refs did us no favors the entirety of the year, but that game was like very abundant in terms of just missed call opportunities and really just us not being, I would say, fully prepared for a healthy Ravens defense. Ravens started out really slow. I think we kind of undermined them as an opponent, led to a loss, and it's really nothing more than that. I think we still can get them. We don't see them next year, but you never know. Could see the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I know they let John Harbaugh go, but they could easily be back in the mix just like that next year. So, yeah, that was just a game that sucked, to be truthfully honest. Nobody's fault. Just need to be more serious and on task about things. But hey, we came out alive in the end. No major injuries at the end of that game, which was nice. Then you got the Bengals game. Whew. Our first shootout really of the year. And Caleb Williams delivered. He delivered. This is kind of where that Iceman persona was starting to come into play. Like, you give this kid any type of time in the fourth, he's going to show you why they went number one for him. So, hey, if you're a Cincinnati fan watching this right now, hey man, GG's. Colston Loveland, that was really his breakout game of the season too, I'd say. But seeing all of it come together and seeing that we can win those type of games, as a Chicago fan, we've never had anything like this. I dare anybody to say we've had anything like this close. So that was pretty cool to see. Caleb, like I said, Iceman persona was just starting to come off the ground. A lot of love from his teammates, a lot of love from the city, and you know that we're kind of in for a thrill this season no matter what happens because we got this guy at quarterback. So that was good to see. Ben Johnson, excellent play call in that game, took advantage of everything that the defense was giving him, and you saw it, man. Like, we got our play caller, we got our quarterback, and I think that was the game that really cemented them as a duo in this league for time to come. Fourth quarter comeback win, us versus the Giants. Game should not have been so close, but hey, it's the football. It's the National Football League. This stuff happens, and like I said, Caleb fucking Williams just came alive again in the fourth when we needed him most. Defense gets the stop that we need. Jackson Dart went out with injury, and some may say, well, if Jackson wasn't hurt, we would have won this game. I still don't know about that. But hey, injuries happen. he's fine now, and I hope he learns to start sliding more instead of running the ball like he's Cam Scatabo. But that comes with time and development. So yeah, rooting the best for Jackson Dart. Again, sucks that he went out that way in this game. I really would have liked to win with him still playing QB, but hey, he was doing lights out against us, I would say, up until his injury. I think like 2 drives before that, they kind of stalled out, and our defense started waking up a little bit, but he was having a good game. And like I said, Iceman, dude just came alive in the 4th when we needed him most. Got the touchdown that we needed. That was game. Next up, Vikings game. Had to get our get back for week 1. Really should have won week 1. Really should have swept the Vikings, but it was good to get our get back against them in Minnesota. I think this was like right at the start of the downfall of J.J. McCarthy's season. He kind of picked it back up towards the end. Good for him, but that second time he played us, it was rough for both quarterbacks, I'd say. But again, Caleb Williams comes alive in the 4th. We get a great return from special teams. The rest is history, man. So we ended up splitting with the Vikings. We're actually still a really good team. It sucks that they didn't go as far as they wanted, but they still ended the season over 500. Beat the Packers. Who cares if it was their 3rd strings? Swept the Lions. Something the Bears couldn't do once. So, hey, much respect to the Minnesota fan base and Minnesota team. And for the love of God, please get Brian Flores out of our division. Please. Next up, the Steelers. Another close game. Game didn't start out too good. Caleb took a nasty sack in the end zone. Steelers got a touchdown. Game was like kind of tug of war-ish, I'll say. Really wanted it to be Aaron Rodgers instead of Mason Rudolph. I feel like, honestly, Mason Rudolph gave the Steelers a better chance than Aaron Rodgers, but, that's just me being a nasty Bears fan who can't stand Aaron Rodgers, Perk Rodgers, whatever you want to call him. So, yeah, I really wanted to beat him at our field just to, put this whole I own you persona to bed and show him that, hey, this isn't that same Chicago team that you've gotten best of in years past. So, sucks we didn't play him, but hey, a win's a win. Another 4th quarter fiasco, but like I said, at this point, the identity of the team was, if you keep it close in any scenario, we'll find a way to come out on top. And you kind of want that resiliency built in a young team, because then that lets them know in any type of tough game scenario where they could be down big or they could be down a little and they just need to get over the hump just this much. They know that they can do it, and that's kind of the confidence that you want moving forward, especially like I said, with such a young core and a young quarterback and a young head coach. Like, that's really good. But then after the Steelers, probably the game of the year for Bears fans everywhere, after a Bears-Eagles alliance for, I would say, the entirety of the season up until that point. Played them on Black Friday. The rest was history. 281 rushing yards on the ground. And I think this was probably the Bears' most physical game all season. I don't think they let up a single, and I mean a single, time on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, they were just active. They were hungry. They knew not to underestimate this opponent, and you could really see the full brunt force of this team. And I think after this game, we weren't as physical in the rest of our games, but this was still really good to see that we could put physicality on the forefront of like all our tape and show everybody like, hey, we're not to be pushed around. If you want to move us around, you got to get bigger guys, you got to get stronger guys, because we're not going for it. So it was really good to see that. It was the first Packers L and the only L to the Packers this season. Another 4th quarter fiasco. Just didn't end the way we wanted, but hey, like I said, like I've been saying all video, we have our quarterback. Tough as nails in the stretch. Didn't let anything in that game phase him in terms of lack of production on offense, how easily the defense may have been getting scored on. And then this was the one game we played against Micah, so Packers fans will probably be in these comments saying how if Micah was there all 3 times, things would have went different. But I feel like we would have found a workaround against him. And he didn't even get a sack recorded in that first game anyway, so that just also gives me a little bit more confidence for the future. Like, hey, they're not invincible. And then on top of that, Jeff Hafley's just an above average defensive coordinator, and Micah was pretty much saving him the entirety of the season. You have to account for so much that Micah Parsons does as a player, and I hope he gets better too. I don't wish injuries on anybody. But like I said, it was just a good game. Sucks that it ended the way it did, the Caleb Williams pick in the end zone, because that same exact play that we ended it on, we won the week before against Philly with, and it would have been kind of nice to see it done 2 times in a row, but I digress. I knew we'd get our get back this season, so wasn't too stressed about that loss, but it stunk for a bit. Green Bay was talking like they were going to run away with the division and they're going to make this magnificent playoff run, and then same thing that's been happening to everybody this season, injuries. It was a week back-to-back kind of thing, but after the Packers game, the first L, played the Browns, crushed them, magnificent game, 31-3, didn't really need to do too much, but had to put this team away early. We all knew Myles Garrett was going to get a sack in some type of capacity. That guy's just a freak of nature. I wish he was on my team, but I digress. Couldn't let Shedeur come in there and light us up, and credit to the defense, hats off to DA. We did not let him at all. We proved to the world he is a rookie quarterback, and we're not willing to let ourselves get beat up like that ever again by a rookie quarterback, and that was good. Then we played the Packers again at home this time. Man, oh man, oh man. This is where the throw of the year conversation started. Specifically, I'll say it started really the Bengals game winner to Colston Loveland. That was Caleb Williams' first throw of the year. This one was definitely his second throw of the year, up against our main rival, the Green Bay Packers, at home. Already lost one to them this season. The division was on the line. I'll say seeding was on the line because we were dropped to the 7th seed after losing to the Packers the first time. We know if we lost to them again, there's no way we could be higher than like 5 or 6. So, big game, had to win, and that's exactly what we did. Game was pretty one-sided to start. We kept it close with field goals, and that should have been a lesson Ben Johnson learned. Keeping it close with field goals is never a bad thing. Did that. Jordan Love goes down with a concussion. People are talking about that hit that Austin Booker hit on him. I don't really view it as too dirty. I don't think it was dirty at all. I think it was just a football play. But he ducked his head, however, he was out for the game. Cool. Well, not cool. Don't wish injuries on anybody. But, the game goes on. Malik Willis comes in, objectively plays better than Jordan Love was at the time in that game. And we thought, man, there's no way we lose to a backup quarterback at home on a game basically for the division. And credit to the offense, credit to this defense, credit to special teams, credit to everybody. They knew what was at stake. They knew how big this game was. Caleb Williams delivers in the 4th, per usual. We get the stop in overtime like we needed, and the rest was history. Caleb Williams, blur ball to DJ Moore in the end zone, touchdown, rest was history. Probably one of the greatest Bears-Packers games in recent memory. And at that point, the stage was kind of set. We knew we'd see them again in the playoffs, so the rest of the season was more so just get as best seeding as you could. Potentially first would be nice, so we have a first round bye, but at the very minimum, we knew we'd be either first, second, or third seed, and we knew that we'd be playing either the Packers or the Eagles. So that was nice. Lost to the 49ers in the shootout, which I think that game ultimately could have been in our favor too. 4 seconds left on the clock. Ball was just a little bit underthrown, but yeah, we were almost one away from having the 1 seed and then potentially battling it out with the Seahawks for the 1 seed. I think they would have got credit though because they're more divisional wins. I'm not sure how it would have went, but That would have been nice, and I don't think the Seahawks lost the game the rest of the stretch of the season either, so probably still wouldn't have got it, but it was fine. What I liked about that game, again, it showed that no matter how many guys go down in pregame, before game, like injury report, none of that stuff matters. We could last in these shootout games, and as long as 1-8 is in the game, we're always going to have a chance to win. So that was really cool to see. Very proud of like how far the season had come to this point. Like we're still playing meaningful games in December, which was very cool, especially like right after Christmas. So that was awesome, man. You know, haven't had that in Chicago in forever, like literally forever. So at this point in the season, we're looking at mock drafts and and looking at the best defensive player or offensive players in the draft and what we could do after those few are gone and stuff like that. So like I said, man, just meaningful football in December I think meant a lot to fans, and it just showed us like not to take this season for granted. Like it started out 0-2, we got our butt whoops the second game of the season, and then we're at this point now in the season where we're playing meaningful football in December. That's toughness, that's resiliency, that's heart. No matter how you put it, your schedule was easy. If our schedule was easy, what was the Patriots' schedule? I digress. But seriously, man, like up until that point, I had the utmost confidence in this team in all scenarios, and it was pretty cool to watch us play some December football. After that, played the Lions, last game of the season. Another nail biter in the fourth. Defense did what we needed them to. Didn't let them get 51 points on us or 52 points on us. So big adjustment. Kept it very limited for the Lions in the red zone, and the Lions at this point were out of the postseason, and they were really just playing more for pride than we were, and you could kind of see it like in our players. I don't want to say they took this game lightly because they never do, but you could just see like the contempt of like, all right, man, like we're really gearing up for the playoffs, guys. Like, yes, we want to beat you, but we're not opening the whole can of worms to beat a team who's already out of the postseason. Like it's redundant. It would have been nice to come out with that win, but hey, the Lions fan base needed it more than us. Congrats, guys. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Oh, and Amon-Ra St. Brown with that corny. You're corny. And then, yeah, man, second game of the year, if not the game of the year. Packers, Bears, 2nd seed, 7th seed, divisional round. Bragging rights for the foreseeable off season and for the next year until we play each other again. What a game. Jordan Love played all 60 minutes. Caleb Williams played all 60 minutes. And the Bears came out on top. We were down 21-3 at half. I just put that image up and just let it sit for all the Green Bay fans. Yeah, that was us. And then it went to this. So what are y'all gonna say now? Jordan Love was hurt. Oh, no, he wasn't. Your defense still played lights out. It was 21-3 at halftime. What happened? You need Michael Parsons to close the game that bad? Wow, that's crazy. I wouldn't invest that much in my defense. Or I wouldn't invest that much in the one player if he made that big of a difference on my defense. I would kind of spread that wealth around. But I don't wish injuries on anybody. Good game for us.